Today's question from one of our Ballroom Dance Channel friends. Hi, Sunny. What do you think the main reasons are that a male dancer doesn't seem to have what it takes to be a great dancer? It appears to me that my balance and flexibility issues are a big reason. I have determination, I have drive to succeed, but it can be very discouraging. I've excelled in other sports, swimming, track, weightlifting, but I don't seem to overcome these issues I mentioned in dancing. Okay, number one, welcome to the club. It's not a leads issue. Guarantee every follow out there is also questioning in their mind, why don't I have what it takes to be a great dancer? So don't drink the Kool-Aid. This is an all dancer problem. This is not a you problem. It's not a lead problem. It's a ballroom and Latin dancer issue. Okay, so let's dive into this. Number one, because you were a lead, I can say that early on in the ballroom dance, a learning game, your job is going to be harder. You have to initiate everything when you're doing it correctly, and the follow gets the luxury of responding. So even if the follow can't think as fast as the lead does, they have the luxury of just hanging on. I'm not saying it's gonna look great or feel great to you, but they have that luxury. You, as the lead, must initiate each figure. You must initiate each pattern and change on the fly when someone gets in your way, which they will, especially at a comp or a social dance, which is ultimately where we end up. We're not all just taking private lessons. Okay, number two, follows have their own weaknesses, but here are the weaknesses I see in most male leads. Could be male follow, but usually the leads are male. They have a higher center of gravity. They carry their weight more up here than down in our keister area like I do. So what happens? We have a high center of gravity. That makes it physically much more difficult to balance, okay? You're farther off the ground, and when you have to shift your weight, you have to use a lot more strength and agility to do that. This is why you see gold Olympic level gymnasts who are 4'6". There's a reason for that. They have a low center of gravity. It's easier for them to be flexible. It's easier for them to do triple somersaults in the air or catch themselves and fall and move on a dime with speed like we would in Latin. So yeah, this isn't a you problem. This is just a painting with a broad brush, how most men are built problem, okay? Now, don't get me wrong, follows have their own challenges in what's holding them back to be what in their mind is a great dancer. By the way, guys, guarantee there are people out there who are looking at you with admiration, but let's get back to the topic. You're not as bad as you think. Follows, we naturally are not going to be as strong as the lead, so that makes other things more difficult. I'm painting with a broad brush, but usually, in my experience, the females have a harder time with the cardio. So this can be tough. If the lead's just moving with more power and speed than we are capable of, yeah, that makes our job a heck of a lot hard. We got to use a ton of technique to overcome that. Secondly, follows, bad news bears, that hanging on thing, it's a short pony ride. The better you get follows, you are going to have your hands full. Now, I know the leads part, I know the follows part. In my opinion, the leads part is harder early on. But once those figures, routines, technique becomes muscle memory, follows, you're the one that gets the harder job. Again, this is my opinion. I am painting with a broad brush. But you have to feel the first half beat of each figure and respond and be super patient on the one beat and then be very powerful and explosive and give the exact right amount of power back on the 2 and 3 in waltz or the 2, 3, 4 cha-cha, whatever. Everyone feels like they are not dancing to their potential. Okay, next step, painting with a broad brush. I find many female dancers have a better sense of the music on the floor. So the showmanship, it's a challenge for many follows, but honestly, it's even more of a challenge for more of the leads. They got their man face on, but that's not really going to cut it in every dance. And so from my observation, they tend to have a little bit harder time with that. The balance aspect, the follow, because they have that low center of gravity, and so they can make the bigger shapes. They might look like they're moving with more control and grace with you, but that's a bit of an optical illusion. It's just the way their spine is built, and the less muscles they have lets them move with a little bit more fluidity than I imagine you think you're moving very stiff like a robot. Probably not as bad as you think. But anyway, I always say there's the dance you did, the dance you thought you did, the dance you wanted to do. These are all different animals, guys. So anyway, final thought, whether it's lead or follow, it can be very challenging, as you know, to find the right partner. If you don't have a partner who's equally motivated as you, and no two people are exactly the same, honestly, it does make your job harder. So if I'm follow and my lead is not giving 1,000% like I am, it makes my job harder. If I'm a lead and my follow maybe isn't as motivated in learning all the patterns and what can I do after a natural turn, that does make your job harder. And so you're going to think, oh, I'm the lead, I don't have what it takes. That's not it. You do have what it takes. Promise you that, my friend. So anyway, thank you so much for your question. I look forward to seeing you first thing tomorrow morning for some more things ballroom dance, guys. And if you happen to be in the Portland area tonight, I will be teaching at the Sesame Club downtown at Norse Hall. I have some beautiful couples just doing a couple quick numbers, Ray and Becca, as well as Kelly and Catherine. And I will be teaching the pre-dance lesson, which will be an international waltz. And hey, we'll just stick around and dance with all of our long-term ballroom dance friends. So I hope to see you there. Doodles!